So Clonakilty Soccer Club are Beamish Cup champions for the second year running, and I'm delighted to be joined by their veteran goalkeeper at this stage, Iain O'Driscoll, to discuss their Beamish Cup win over Ardfield last Sunday. 3-3 draw after extra time, and then Clon won 7-6 on penalties. Ian, has it sunk in yet that you're Beamish Cup champion for the second time running?
No, not quite actually. I suppose it was a rocky final for us, and it was kind of hard to completely enjoy it in the end. I suppose for me anyway, personally, just with the controversy of the penalties and everything and being goal, it's not it's not brilliant, brilliant experience. But obviously getting the win in the end was unreal, and to do it 2 years in a row is yeah, I suppose not many teams get to do that, so it was fantastic.
And given like the quality of the game as well, the excitement of the game, the fact it went to penalties as well. I know it might be a nightmare situation for goalkeepers in general for a penalty shootout, but to win it in that kind of fashion, and especially with a late equaliser and extra time as well, you must be absolutely thrilled. The whole team must be absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, it was definitely an emotional roller coaster, we'll say. I think we were quite confident going in. We were probably favourites going in, and being two up with kind of 20 minutes to go or so. I think I was convinced we had won, and then to end up drawing, going to extra time, to go down then by a goal in extra time, was not great. But then Ruben, of course, came up trumps 3 minutes to go in extra time to get the equaliser, and then obviously then we had the penalties, which it's actually it's surprisingly enough, I didn't mind the penalties too much. I don't think there's too much pressure on the goalkeeper in those. I think there's a lot more pressure on the each penalty taker rather than the goalie. I didn't feel it too much anyway, thank God.
It's a kind of a statement that's kind of unexpected in many ways because, like in soccer, normally a lot of people would say the goalkeeper could be the hero, could be the villain in many ways. I suppose the decisive penalty taker could be as well. But how do you prepare for a penalty shootout as a goalkeeper yourself?
To answer you truthfully, I didn't. That was definitely a big error on my part. I suppose I didn't actually envisage it going to penalties at any point for some reason. And but yeah, look, I think when you're in goal for penalties, you're trying to read the player taking the penalty, and you're also just guessing to a certain extent. So I'm not sure there's much you can do as a goalie to prepare. I think it's more the penalty takers that have to actually practice where they're going, and whether they decide to stick the same side or go the opposite direction on the day or whatever. But with a goalie, I think you're just trying to read the player, and you just try and get to it basically. So there wasn't much preparation put in, being honest, and that might have shown in the first five penalties that went in. Sorry, six actually. It was the seventh one before I got a hand to one. So yeah, maybe a bit more practice for next time.
Well, you've won the cup anyway, so it may be a bit of practice for the end of the league, and that's the thing. You
Yeah.
could want to win the double double now. You won the Premier Division and Beamish Cup double last year. You're aiming to do the same this year. You're in a healthy position in the Premier Division. Is the aim? Well, the aim is obviously to push on and catch Trina Rangers, obviously at the top. But that would be an amazing achievement if it was to be done at the end of the season.
Yeah, obviously that is our goal, but I think there's a long way to go, and it's definitely not an easy path. We have a lot of difficult fixtures ahead, with Drina being one of them. We have Bunratty, who I think are kind of slightly in a relegation battle. We have Toho, who are always really strong, always hard to beat. So we don't have an easy ride. I think the main one would probably be playing Trina, right? If we can beat them or even get a draw, I think that would help. But um, I would definitely say it's still a very much an uphill battle. So who knows what'll happen, but obviously the goal is definitely to try and achieve the double double.
And as well, at the end, obviously, after the Beamish Cup final, you said to our reporter Joe McCarthy after the game, it would be a great way to see out my last season. So, like, that would be an amazing kind of story to win the Premier Division as well as the Beamish Cup in your last year, or is it your last year?
Yeah, every time I say that, people say you said that for the last 5 years. Yeah, I've been kind of been giving up for the last number of years, and you kind of keep getting drawn back in. I suppose I've played soccer since I was like 6, 7 years old, and played 20 seasons now as an adult, and It just becomes part of your life, doesn't it? Every single weekend during the winter months, anyway, you just always have a game, and it's hard to give it up. But at the same time, I'm 38, getting to that stage where it is time to move on. So look, that's the plan at the moment. But I better not say, just in case. I might say it's a maybe, but it's most likely. Yeah, it'd be a great way to finish, though. But like we've the Beamish Cup going now, and I did say at the start of the season that I would take one. Like obviously we want the double, but I would always accept one out of two as an achievement in itself.
And what has been done with this team by obviously the players have put in an amazing effort, obviously, but like the management team of John Leahy and Lord Edmead, like what sort of influences they had on Clonakilty Soccer Club over the last few seasons?
Oh, it's been fantastic. Mosey's been there, for geez, I don't even know how long is it, 30 years at this stage. Probably, I think he actually started coaching, managing, I think, around the same time I started playing. So it's probably 20 seasons now he's been managing. And he's just a massive servant to the club and to clan soccer in general. Lauren then came in last season to kind of take over, I suppose, the coaching aspect of things. And we've only got better as a result. So the two of them have been unreal. I think the timing was just perfect because we got a lot of new players that joined in the last couple of seasons. We had a couple of lads come home from abroad who kind of started back playing again. Liam Anthony White and Shane Bunnemer. They're kind of my age category, so just about squeezing back in the door. So that mixture then of experience, new players, it kind of all just happened at once, which was fantastic. So, we were lucky in one sense to have that combination of the management, the coaching, and then the players. Because as you know yourself, like a squad is vital for challenging, I suppose, leagues and cups, and just week in week out trying to get a team out. You need a good team and you need a good squad. And if you don't have those replacements, it's what normally gets you over the line. And that was definitely evident to us last year, massively so. But again, this year, even the semi final there, the Beamish Cup, one of our best players, Alan Murphy, was out injured. And Mark Irwin, who's actually a year older than me, stepped in, took his place in centre midfield, which is a challenging position to play. And he played outstanding. And without that cover, it just makes it very difficult to compete in all these cups.
Talked about the mix of youth and experience there, and the players coming in to add something to the party in many ways. Like, does that make in general what Clonakilty Soccer Club have been over the last few seasons in winning league titles and winning cups? Has the mix of youth and experience and quality, of course, as well, been a key factor in winning these trophies?
Oh yeah, 100%. Having that cover in every position and having certain players for certain games, and the lads have definitely changed up who was selected based on the opposition. But we just have a great mixture of youth and experience on the team, and it's just really stood to us. Again, it's just that whole squad effort of having enough players. Like for example, now on Sunday we had three central defenders who were on the bench that could easily been on the pitch. So you've got three playing, and then you've three on the bench that could have just taken their places straight away. So there is just cover for every position, and some lads playing a few different positions, and then again it's a mixture of that experience and youth. So energy, and actually some of the older lads still though, like Liam Anthony White, he's still got loads of energy. So he's got the experience and a bit of youth in the body, like so. Yeah, no, it made a huge difference to us for sure.
And just looking forward to the rest of the Premier Division, obviously. Is there kind of pressure on you? Do you feel a bit of pressure moving at that end of the stage of the season? Or does this Beamish Cup win kind of relieve that pressure a small bit going into the late running?
That's a good question, actually. I'm not sure. I don't think there's too much pressure. I think there's a bit of an expectation, maybe, but I don't think we feel it. Because you know yourself, it's game by game. When it comes to the league, obviously, when it comes to a final, there's one game, but we've so many games. We've four in hand, I think it is, and then we've obviously Drina to play. So maybe when we play Drina, we might feel a bit more pressure, but every other game is just going to have to just take it game by game and hope that we keep winning.
And just one final question, Ian. Obviously, you've played soccer a long time now, great success as well in the last few seasons with Clonakilty Soccer Club. How much do you enjoy the sport of soccer, especially the Beamish Cup and playing in the West Cork League over the last years or so? Obviously, at the time that you have been playing soccer.
I fell in love with the sport since I was about 6 years old. Well, I remember watching David Beckham. I was a big Beckham fan, maybe rather than a United fan. But I just remember wearing this number 7 jersey, wanted to play right midfield, and not much has changed. I just still love playing. Um, so yeah, and like I coached throughout quite a period of it as well, and even the likes of Calaman, who actually stepped up and took our 7 penalty. I think he's only 18. I was actually coaching him when he was about 9 years old, so it's really cool then to be playing with them. So yeah, it just means so much, and I'm a big advocate of soccer in Clonakilty. I want it to keep growing. I want it to have the same level of commitments from the town even as other sports get, and just keep bringing the sport up in Clan and in West Cork in general. I think we need to keep pushing to get it higher up the rankings.
And you definitely have over the last few seasons with Clonakilty winning all the cups and the cup success and just the sheer brilliance of Clonakilty Soccer Club over the last few seasons. Ian, thanks for coming on the Star Sport podcast today. Again, congratulations from all to Southern Star and winning the Beamish Cup, and best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks very much, Matthew. Thanks for having me.